Good morning, Math 6. Hopefully everybody's doing well. We're ready now to start Chapter 12, Lesson 1. As you all know, if we need to figure out where the notes are, we go up into our classwork. Click on that. We are now moving on to Chapter 12 down here. Click on Chapter 12, and we are down here in our M6, Lesson 12-1, our notes here. So click on that if you want to follow along. That would be great. I'm going to pull my notes up right here now. So here we go. There's this piece over here. We're now in Chapter 12, Lesson 1, line plots. Okay. Line plots are also known as dot plots, but let's figure what they are. So making a line plot, it says, one way to give a picture of data is to make a line plot. A line plot is a visual display, so it's something that we can see, of the distribution of the data values, where each data value is shown as a dot or another mark, usually an X, above the number line. Okay, a line plot is also known as a dot plot. So what we're looking at here is, okay, how is this data distributed across a number line? So let's take a look here at the examples that we have here. Okay, so it says, Jasmine asked her class how many pets they had. The results are shown in the table. Make a line plot of the data. Then describe the data presented in the graph. So that in the graph is hidden behind our data here. So basically what we're doing here is we're saying, okay, Jasmine asked her class, how many pets does each person have? So if we take a look here, we take all this data. The first thing we're going to create is a number line here. As you see, our numbers, they vary from 0 to 4. So that's why we have here, right down here, 0 to 4. So what we're going to do now is take this information and put it into a line plot. Mine here, I use the X's. Other people can use dots. Whatever you feel best with, that works great also. So what we're going to do here is say, okay, how many students had 0 pets? So if we go up here with the 0, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 students that had 0 pets. So I put 4 X's or 4 dots above the 0. Let's go with the 1. Pull up my pen here. The 1, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 X's above the 1 or 6 dots. So let's move on here to the 2. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 X's above the 2, which tells me I have 8 people who have 2 pets. Let's continue on to the number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 students who have 3 pets. And finally, how many students have 4 pets? Well, that would be 1 and 2. I have 2 students who have 4 pets here. So they want us to now describe this data here. So let's see how we described it here. It says down here, 24 students responded to the question. So if I look here, if I count up all these X's, I ought to have 24, which is true. No more than 4 pets. No one had more than 4 pets, which is true. There weren't people who had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or beyond that. And it says 4 students have no pets. So if we look over here, so I have 4 students here who have no pets. And my mode, which occurred most often, we can say 2. We had a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 students had 4 pets. So that is my mode. So let's go over here to the next one now. Let's see what we got here. So Callie surveyed 16 students to find the number of books they read over the summer break. Okay, the students read, and there's our data there. Make a line plot of the data, then describe the data presented in the graph. So once again, all we're going to do here is just go through our information. So as you see here, the numbers we have are 1 through 5. So that's why we have 0 through, actually I say 0 through 5. We have 0 to 5 here on our number line. So if we take a look and I count up my number of zeros with my data points up here, you will find out I have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros right there. 1, 2, 3, and 4 zeros there. So we're good to go there. Let's look at the number 1. How many people read one book? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students who read one book. Okay, let's go with 2 books. I have 1, 2, 3, only 3 students who read 3 books. So 3 X's above the number 2, which means we have 3 students who read 2 books. The number 3, how many students read 3 books? So we got 1, 2, only 2 students read 3 books. 1, 2, good to go there. Let's look here at number 4. How many students read 4 books? Well, it looks like we just have 1. Which is true, 1 there, and 5, just have 1 here also. So excellent job here. So what are we going to say to describe this information? It says 16 students were surveyed. Yes, that is true. There are 16 X's here. More people read one book than any other. That is true. That looks like that's going to be our mode here. That's our mode. 4 people did not read any books over the summer. So these are our lazy ones right here. So very good. So far, we should be good to go. Pretty basic information. It says now we're going to analyze line plots. So what does this mean here? It says you can describe a set of data using measures of center. That's our mean, median, mode, as well as measures of variability. We're going to get into our Q1s, our IQRs, our ranges, Q3s, all that fun stuff. The range of a data and any outlier are also meaningful in describing the data. So let's take a look and see what examples we have here. Okay, so this one here, they're saying, okay, find the median and mode of the data, then describe the data using them. So they want to say, okay, what are we going to do with our median and our mode? Well, let's take a look here. Now, you could do one of 2 things. You could list out all of this data if it's easier for you. You do 30, 30, 35, 35, 35, 40, 40, 40, 45, 45, 45, 50, 50, 50, 50, and 75. You could do that and then go through and find your median and your mode and go from there. Or you could use this method that I'm going to show you here. You just need to be careful. So if we take a look here, we're going to go back and forth to each side and cross some things out to find our median. So I'm going to start here with 30, gone, and 75, gone. I'm going to do 30 again here, and then I'll go over to a 50 here. Then I'll go to 35 and then another 50. As you notice, I'm going side to side. Another 35, another 50. Another 35, another 50. Okay, so far we're doing well. Another 40, another 45, another 40, another 45. So as you see here, I have in the middle for my median 40 and 45. So when doing that, we are going to take our 40 and our 45, add them together to find the median, add them together, divide by 2, which gives me 85 over 2. So my median price is $42.50. Okay. So if you wanted to, you can also count them. That's one way to do it. As you know, there are 16 here. So the median is going to be between 8 and 9. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I have here your 40 and your 45. So that's one way to look at it also. That gives us our 40 and 45 also, or going back and forth. It's completely up to you. So by looking at this also, it's pretty easy to figure out. Here is our mode. This is the one that occurs most often, which would be the price of our cowboy hats is $50 would be our mode. So what do they want us to say here? Let's take a look if we were to describe this information here. It says half of the cowboy hats cost more than $42.50 because we're right in the middle there. And half costs less than $42.50. So we know half is on one side, half is on the other side. More cowboy hats cost $50 than any other price. So that's pretty easy right there. Okay, let's take a look here. We're going to look at the price of sneakers here. Now, if we want to, we can do it this other way here and say, hey, there are 22 prices. Well, if I cut 22 in half, well, that gives me 11, okay? But I got to go in between that because it's even. That's going to be 11 and 12. So if I want to, I can go through and just count my 11th and 12th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So my 11 and 12 here are at $45. So 45 plus 45 is your 90 divided by 2 is still your $45 there. Okay. So your mode at that point is going to be $40. If we look here, here's our one that occurs most often. So we're good to go from there. So if we were to look and describe this here, it's basically we're coming back over to the same explanation here. We can say, hey, half of the price of the sneakers cost more than $45 and the other half costs less than $45. So that's pretty basic information. And the majority of these sneakers cost $40 in price. So that's pretty easy there. Let's figure out what we got here next. Move down here next. Okay. Now we're getting some more intense stuff. Ooh, these don't look fun here. It says find the range and any outliers of the data. Uh-oh, you got to find your outliers now. Then describe the data using them. Okay, so let's take a look here. If we're looking at, once again, the prices of our cowboy hats, same information up here. So we already have some of our information done. So if we look at our range here, okay, so we're going to look how they vary. They want the range here. So our range here is we take our largest price here, the cowboy hats, which is 75, and we take our least price of the cowboy hats and we subtract them. 75 minus 30 is $45. So our range here is $45 in price. Then we need to go through and find our Q1. Okay, now remember, with this one here, let's look here, we know that we're dealing here with this number here, this 40 here, and this 45 here. So Q1, we are going to include this one here. So if we take a look here, let me do this in blue. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have a total of 8 here. So half of 8 is 4. It's even, so we're looking at 4 and 5. So if we were to look at that, we're needing numbers 4 and 5 here. Go up here, clear that. So 1, 2, 3, here's 4, and here's 5. So it looks like our Q1 here is going to be $35. We have that right there. Now let's go over here and figure out what the Q3 is. So my guess, once again, we're going to have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So once again, we have our same number there. So we need numbers 4 and 5. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So our 4 and 5 here are at $50 here. So our Q3 is $50. Now that takes us to our IQR. We take Q3 minus Q1, which gives us $15 here. So our interquartile range is $15. So we need to figure out, hey, what is our outlier going to be? So remember, you take your IQR, which is $15, you multiply it times 1.5, which gives us $22.50. Okay, 22.5. So then we take our Q1 and we subtract our 35 minus our 22.5, which gives us a $12 lower limit. And as you see, we don't have anything here that's lower than $30. So there's nothing over here of an outlier at the lower end. Let's check and see about the upper end here. So we take our Q3, which is $50. We add the $22.50 to that, which gives us $72.50. That's our upper limit. So as we see here, yes, we do have an outlier of $75 here. So let's take a look here. And they want us to talk about it now. Let's describe the information. So we can say, hey, the range is $45 and the limits for the outlier are $12.50 and $72.50. So the outlier is $75. So we're just taking that information and describing it a little bit. Once again, let's go over here. Clear this. We're good to go. Okay, the price of the sneakers. As you see, the most expensive sneaker cost is $70 over here, and the cheapest one is $35. So to figure out the range, we take our largest minus our smaller one, which is 70 minus 35, which gives us $35 as our range. Now we got to figure out what our Q1 and Q3 are. So let's take a look here. If we take a look, let me clear this right here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 11 here we're going to include in Q1. So that's odd. Half of 11 is, so we just go down 1, so that's 5. So we want 5 on each side. So that sixth one is going to be what we need here. So let's take a look here. So we'll go down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right there, there's our 6th one. Here is our Q1. That is $40 right there. Let's do the same on the other side. Let's do that in blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's our 6th one. Okay, which is $50. There's our Q3 right there. So the $50 is our Q3. So IQR, Q3 minus Q1, 50 minus 40 is $10. Now to figure out the outlier, remember, take that amount, multiply it times 1.5. So 10 times 1.5 is $15. So then we go to our Q1, which is $40. Subtract our 15 from it, which our lower limit is $25. As you see, there's nothing below $35 here, so we do not have a lower outlier. Let's look at the upper. So with the upper, we'll take our Q3 plus our $15. So 50 plus 15 is 65. Our upper limit is from 65 and beyond. And as you see here, we have $70 here. So we do have an outlier of $70. So let's see, how can we describe this data? So the range is $35. And the limits for the outliers are $25 and $65. So the outlier is $70. So we just described our information there. Let's continue and see what we have here. Here we go. Measures of variability and center. So mean, median, mode, Q1, Q3, IQR, outliers. Man, we got the works here. So you just got to take your time with this. So once again, what you may want to do with this, it's up to you, but make sure you're using your calculator. One way to use it on a calculator is be very careful. But you can also use multiplication with this. So if you look here, I have 1, 2, 3 35. So you can do 35 times 3 plus 40 plus 45 times 2 here. Okay. Plus 50 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 50 times 5 plus your 75. So there are 12 numbers here. So if you add all those up, you should get 560. Divide that by 12 because I have 12 pieces of data here and the amount of money we have saved, which gives us a mean of $46.67. So then we have to go through our median. So once again, we're dealing with 12 here. So we're dealing with numbers 6 and 7. So if we look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. and 7. Okay, so the median is going to be 45 plus 50. Okay, oh, wait a second here. Maybe Mr. Spencer made a little mistake here. Let me go back here and take a look at this. Let me cross this stuff out. So if I go 1, 2, 3, I'll do bottom, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Yeah, 11, 12. So it should be 45 and 50 is our mean. So it looks like I have a mistake here, okay, because we're dealing with 12 here, 45 and 50. So if I were to look at that on my handy dandy calculator, it should be probably $47.50. So I go 45 plus 50 is going to be 95. Divide that by 2, and that's $47.50. So Mr. Spencer made a mistake here. So if you can make a correction on that to $47.50. I thought I was right when I was going through that with you guys. Okay, so now we're going to be dealing with Q1 and Q3. So if I clear this here, we know that we are going to be including this point and this point. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. And I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. Okay, so if we take a look at these here, if we start crossing these out, let me do this section here in red. We got 1, actually in blue, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 35 and 40. 35 plus 40 is 75 divided by 2. So Q1 is $37.50. Now let's go to this side in red. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This one here is going to be 50. We have our 2 here, so our Q3 is 50. So now we got to figure out what if we have any outliers, and how we do that is take our IQR. So we have 50 minus $37.50, which gives us $12.50 for IQR. We're going to take that $12.50, multiply it times 1.5, as we always do, which gives us $18.75. Now let's apply that to the Q1. So we take our $37.50, we subtract the $18.50 from it, which gives us a lower limit of $18.75. As you see here, there's nothing below 35, so we do not have an outlier at the lower end. Let's go now to the Q3. The $50 plus the $18.75 is going to be equal to $68.75, which is our upper limit here. And yes, as you see, our outlier is $75. So our outlier up top is $75. If we even take a look here, we can see our mode. The mode, which occurs most often. If you take a look here, draw a little line down through here. This is 50. It occurs most often. So at that point here, we do know, click here, we do know that our mode is $55. So 55? No, mode is not $55. Geez, oh man, Mr. Spencer made another mistake. Correct this mistake here. Make this $50 right there. So our mode is 50. So it doesn't look like we need to explain anything. That's good because Mr. Spencer made a couple mistakes there. So make sure you make those corrections. Okay, let's look over here. Ages of people in a play. So as you can see, we have 3 people that are 16 years old, 1 person that's 17 years old. We have 3 people that are 18 years old, 2 people that are 19 years old, 3 people that are 20 years old, and 1 person that is an old man, 21 years of age. So let's take a look at this here. If we were to go through, add up all these numbers, please make sure it's 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 17 plus 18 plus 18 plus 18 plus 19 plus 19 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 21. So we add all those numbers up, we get a total of 238 divided by 13, because there's 13 pieces of data here. So we get that the average age is 18.31 years. So we're looking over 18 a little bit and go from there. So let's look at the median. So since there's 13 here, we're looking at half of 13. Well, we're going to back that up. We're going to say half of 12 is 6. Bump that up 1. That gives me up to 7. So we're looking at our 7th one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So our median now is 18 years of age. That's our middle age in this group of people is 18 years of age. So let's figure out where the Q1 is. Now we're not going to use this 18 here at all. So if we take a look here, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 people here. So 1, 1, 2, 2, and we're going to go right here's Q1. It's 16 plus 17. 16 plus 17 divided by 2. So 16 plus 17 is 33 divided by 2. So Q1 is 16 and a half years old. So now let's look at Q3. 1, 1, 2, 2. Up, there we go. Here is our Q3 here. It is at 20. So Q3 is 20. Let's scroll down here and see what we have here. Let's figure out what the IQR is. It's 20 minus 16.5, which gives us 3.5. Our IQR is 3.5 years. Now we got to figure out what our outliers are. Take your 3.5 times your 1.5 equals 5.25. Take that number, subtract it from Q1, add it to Q3. So let's see what our lower limit outlier is. 16.5 minus 5.25 gives us 11.25 years old is our lower limit. As we see here, there's nothing below 16 years of age, so we do not have an outlier at the lower end. Now let's look at the upper end. 20 plus 5.25 gives us 25.25 as the upper limit. And we don't go beyond that. We don't go beyond 21 years of age. So as you can see, there are no outliers here whatsoever. Let's take a look at the mode. See what the mode is. Well, hey, I got 3 16s, 3 18s, 3 20s. So we have 3 modes here, 16, 18, and 20. So everybody, hopefully you understood this lesson. You may have to watch it again. There's a lot of information. Make sure you're very careful when counting these X's on the line plots because you can easily get mixed up. If it's easier for you, make sure you list the numbers out. That may be easier for you to figure out what the median is, Q1 and Q3 is. So just make sure to take your time. Other than that, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully you've learned a lot about line plots. Take care.